to license it.
Is it Mental Health Awareness Week or month or
Month.
Is it Mental Health Awareness Month? Yeah.
It was a week, but I think it's been going on for the whole month.
But I swear it came up earlier in the year as well. Was that me making something up?
I think it pops up all the time, to be honest.
It's such a big thing. It pops up all the
Yeah,
time.
I think it
so
pops up all
they
the time.
try not to take it away from that. And I think because due to COVID and we've been indoors,
Highlights it more. Yeah.
highlighting it a lot, because what we don't realize, there's been a lot of suicides. You know.
So today, what are we talking about? Who's the craziest one? Me, you, or Jay?
I mean, before we start on that, we can talk about the young footballer that took his life.
When that
Jeremy
Whiston.
Whiston.
Yeah, Jeremy
wasn't it
Whiston.
somebody's brother though? Like
Nah.
somebody's famous.
Nah. So he played for Man City Academy and he got released. And him getting released, don't know the full detail of the story, but it kind of led to his mental health and
Yeah, and he took his own life.
his whole life. So I mean, that just tells you the levels of ages of, you know.
But that's what they said. Yeah, I was reading up on it. They're saying that basically, like, they're not doing enough for like young people.
There's not enough aftercare.
Yeah,
I think in
there
those.
is
So
not
if you
enough.
release someone for something they've probably been doing since they were 5 or
years
6.
old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta know football's you start really early from like 5, 6, and then some get scouted from that age and bet in that academy system for a very so all they know is that lifestyle, football. So once you get released now, there's nothing afterwards. Well, let's say in theory, yes, there is stuff afterwards, but I think the aftercare is how do we manage them to get into another club? Do you know what I mean? Is there a support system behind when you
But some
get
people,
released
even that's still not enough, because your dream has been to play for this particular team and you've got all the way to this point and then it's ended.
Yeah,
So now other teams are not even an option
Yeah.
in your mind.
because he's probably been there for such a period of time. He's got his friends there. You know, he's built his family base there, and then now I've been released. It's what do I do?
And another side of it as well is a lot of these youths are coming from backgrounds where, you know, they're coming from
Another country.
unfortunate backgrounds where
This
maybe the
is-
finances aren't there, and all that pressure of them thinking I gotta make it type of thing to
provide
get my
for family,
to provide for my family and get my family out of a current situation, and so to be released, in his head he's probably like,
I failed.
he's failed them. What am I gonna do type of
And
thing.
especially if it was more of a, unfortunately, not your time.
Do you know what I'm
kinda
saying?
Take care though.
Yeah.
But
So it's crazy. Yeah,
it's
there
one of them
definitely
sad
needs
ones
to be
because you'll never know. Some people get released and be like, "Oh, well, ban this club. I'm going to
more-
another one."
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you?
It's the support system of that
I think
of that person, what they've got. You know what I mean? So he put it, like I said, we don't know the ins and outs of his family background or whatever.
But to be fair, we don't know if there were signs leading up to this either.
Correct.
Like it's not. That might have been the final straw, but there might have been other things
other trigger points.
that led to this. Because generally, there are other signs. You may not notice it, but there are things that before you get to this point of it's done. You know what I mean? Like, as devastating as that might be, this is me speaking from a place of ignorance though, but I don't believe like 1 month he was fine yesterday,
And
today.
then he just got that news and then
Yeah.
decided.
No, I don't think that was it.
100%.
So there's more to it than that may meet the eye.
That's what I think I've seen, like just the pressure alone. Just you don't know what he's going through at home, personal life. He could have been supporting his whole family at that point with his little wage he was getting from being there, and then to just be dropped like that. Who knows, man? What that triggered in him. And like you said, we don't know what they've said to him. Whether it's a thing where, you know what, like, you ain't got it type of thing, and that could just kill a child. You know, a 17-year-old, that could kill him. You know what I mean? To be told that basically you're not good enough. You're not gonna make it here.
Especially if you potentially moved away to go there. You know, you told
You know,
everyone,
I'm-
listen,
yeah,
I'm off.
I'm playing for
a
Man
bus.
City now.
Yeah.
And then now you got to come back to
Gotta
the
go
ends.
back to the ends, and because it's not
That
worked out.
shame.
Yeah.
Like, it could all get too much, because even I remember at the beginning of quarantine, there was a girl, I think she was autistic already or somewhere on the spectrum, but she killed herself just at the thought of because her mum described it as she was in a routine. So anything that throws off her routine creates like an explosion.
Yeah.
So when it was like, you can't see your friends, you can't do this, you can't do that, she was like, what? And she was roughly about 17, 18.
So it triggered her straight.
Took her own life because it threw her so far out of her routine.
Yeah.
She couldn't function.
And
So
for people on the spectrum, their routine is like very important. To
Yeah,
them as
very,
well, isn't it?
very.
So when she heard, I can't link up with my friends, and you have to sit in the house all day,
Yeah.
it was too much. But do you believe we all suffer from some element of mental health issues?
I think so, you know. I actually really think so, that we all do, just on different levels. Some people might need medication, some people might just need therapy, and some people might just need to talk to a
And
friend.
some people just need a little bit of time to themselves.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that.
like, and
I
that's
feel
it.
like we all experience it in some way and at some points in our lives, yeah.
I mean, I definitely have, but it's just, it's what's going on around you sometimes. You may not even realize it until somebody else highlights it.
Yeah.
Says like, right, what's wrong?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it all spills out. But often, remember, like, suicide rates in black men is ridiculously high because we don't speak.
We don't speak. We have this fear of coming across vulnerable or
100%.
opening up, or do you know what I mean?
I mean, it's facts, you know. For one, for 3 years now, PTSD was something I never spoke about. I kept it to myself for about I spoke about it last year, correct?
Yeah.
For 2 years, to find out it's been triggering for years, but to speak about it for the first time. Obviously behind the scenes, man's just been dealing with it, but I was never open with it to my family and friends. I just kept it to myself.
But that's what's mad.
And it is what was mad, because you know what it is, I was only fooling myself, because the people that I needed to talk to, or I could speak to, I wasn't letting them know what I was going through. And sometimes as men, you know, in our heads we feel like we can sort things out, you know, because that's just the way we are. We fix things. But it got to a point where I was just like, well, I can't fix shit no more. Like, I found myself like just breaking down every second. Like, I can't do this. So what I became was like shouting in my house. But when I was on my phone, I'll talk to no one. I'll reply to you when I want to. That'll be one stage. Then the flip stage would be I'll be out all the time, 'cause I don't want to be at home. Like, it was just mixed contrasts of emotions and feelings and stuff like that. And then things happen. You get real depressed, and you're just there, and you're just like, in your feelings, you're going through certain things, certain ways of emotions. Like, my emotions was mad. 1 minute I'll be calm, next minute I'll be pissed off, don't want to talk to no one, don't want nothing to do with no one. Certain times I'll just lock off my phone, you can't get through to me. And I said one day, I was like, nah man, I need to talk to someone about this, man. And therapy's good. Therapy's good.
Therapy is very good. I think everyone, whether you feel something's wrong or not, I think everyone should go to therapy. And I was against it. Like, what is this stranger going to tell me about me? And then you realize that's the reason they can tell you, because there's no bias.
Yeah, there's no connection between us.
They are literally just listening. And especially if you can get a therapist that's the polar opposite to you.
Yeah.
Did you find out like you was answering a lot of your questions?
Yeah, she didn't say nothing. She didn't say nothing. She was
you had the answers to a lot of your questions.
She was like,
that you
yeah,
asked
so why do you think that? So what would you do differently? And I'm just there talking. That's the quickest hour ever. And literally, my therapist was a white lady. She was a lesbian. Like, she was
totally opposite.
Yeah, like the polar opposite to who I was. So there was literally, you've never experienced. You can't even be like, yeah, I hear you still. But you lived in a whole different place. But then we started to realize that she would share certain experiences just to kind of warm me up. But it's not so far Like they're not so different. That's because you live over there and your life was that. It doesn't mean you can't relate to me in some way, shape or form. But I was totally against it.
Nah, man, my therapist, Mr. Lee, yeah, cool dude, yeah. But at first I thought he was a dickhead. So I think, but that was the greatest thing, because it's like when I'll be talking to him, I thought at times he was criticizing me a lot, and I'm like, the fuck, like, but you're supposed to help me. Why are you?
Yeah.
But then when we started, and he was like, do you remember the first 2 sessions? And I was saying a lot of things to him. You would get angry straight away. I'm like, yeah, but you getting angry now? I'm like, no, because you know the truth. And I sit there and I'd be like, you know, like my man from The Wire. Oh, I get it now.
Sometimes the hardest person to be honest with is yourself.
It is, and it allowed me to fix it's allowed me to repair a lot of relationships, especially around myself, innit, with people around me, innit, and just approach things very differently. Obviously with PTSD, there's a lot of trigger points, innit. Certain things would trigger me back.
But who told you had PTSD?
Therapist.
The therapist. So what I'm trying to say is like, what led you to going to a therapist? Like, what made you?
What was the point?
Yeah, what made you think?
Like,
all right, today is the day. Because if you're going through something and you've been going through it for X amount of time, why today and not yesterday? Because it's the same thing you're going through.
It was due to a conversation with someone. Like one day I just had a conversation with someone and we were just talking about a lot of things personally. It was never like one of those ones like I was opening myself up to. We were just talking about a lot of things personally. And he said to me, yo, Premps, go see someone, man. Just go see someone, because a lot of things you're saying, man, I think you can speak to the man them about it, but I think you need to speak to someone higher up before you go and speak to the man them about it. Do you know what I mean? So at first I fronted it, and he would phone me, yo, you go and speak to someone, take this number, go call them, man. First 3 sessions are free, afterwards you got to pay for it. Okay. You know, and obviously we had a program at work as well. I done some of the programs at work as well, but I felt the programs at work weren't really helping, innit? Do you get me? I just thought they were just telling me what I wanted to hear. So you get what I'm saying when I said in the beginning of me and my man's conversation, there was a lot of criticism. I felt that again. So then one day I was just there in my house. I remember when I was going through all these emotions, I didn't know what I was going through, innit? You get me? I just thought, oh, well, fuck it, it's Monday today, or fuck it, it's Tuesday today, whatever. Or someone said something on the phone, pissed me off, cool. So one day I was sitting there and I thought, alright, let me call this number, innit? Called it, booked it, and I went and we was talking. And a lot of my conversations we was talking about was just like a lot of trauma based, like things that happened in my family, things that would like for instance, I didn't realize I hated hospitals. I didn't know that me going to hospital was such a big fear to me, innit? Do you get me? I just you know something, you just like, I hate spiders. Yeah. But did you ever ask yourself why you hate spiders? Yeah. Why do I hate hospitals? And then I started explaining certain stories and scenarios of like things that I talk about, like things like, for instance, like I was 10 and I saw my mum have a miscarriage, but I was in the room and she was going through the process was happening, didn't know what was going on. And I remember my dad taking me to the hospital because we went to go and see her, and like we've gone in the room, but I had to wait. I couldn't go in the room. Being a little bad breed kid I was, I thought I could just go and look in the room, and I saw my mum hooked up to all these machines, not realizing that's I was in intensive care. Do you know what I mean? And then like that's the first time you see your mum hooked up to all those machines and stuff like that. So that memory's dawned on me from like
stuck with me.
Do you get me? And then let's say fast forward it, that was like I'm 10, so let's fast forward it 14 years later, my mum's older sister in that same position. And going through therapy, that was the first trigger point. Boom. So I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, what the fuck? But obviously my mum survived that. Do you know what I mean? So I'm seeing my mum's sister. I'm like, alright, cool. I've seen this before. She gonna be alright. Boom. Next day. I think, remember we was at work that day. Yeah. You used to manage me. Boom. And I had to cut out. Boom. My aunt's passed away. I'm like, whoa. Hey, that's not how the story runs. You get me? And then from there, it was just like, I think as I was getting old, just so many little things was just like, boom, triggering. And I was just like, nah, man, get me. You know, so I started just before we went. So I had 2017 where things were going out of control. So before we went to Jamaica, that's when I started going therapy.
Mm.
And then obviously afterwards come back, a lot of things happened, you know, my relationship ended. And I didn't deal with that too well. So, you know, you're fronting like, yo, you're alright, but nah, I weren't alright. So that was another trigger point. And just other little things that was going on. And then bruv, like the whole of last year, it was where everything went into full effect. Like, you know, so I lost weight. You know, I took time off work for like 4 months because I was like, I got mad ill. Plus, I got super depressed and all those things there. And then I started therapy again. Because I was like,
it's mad, because like, I was thinking like, therapy is something that people are so scared of, but like, it's help. And it's like, I'm going to say, we're never afraid to ask for or access help for. So for instance, you want to go gym, you want to get a certain body, you get help, you get a PT.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You can't cut your own hair, you'll seek help. You
Go
to
to
a
a
barber.
Yeah.
You want to look fly, your girls want to get their nails done, they're going to go to a nail. So the most important thing is in our mind, and we need to actually
Because of how we
seek
were
help
raised.
for that. The same thing like a car. When there's something wrong with a car,
You
Mechanic.
you go to a mechanic.
I think, do you know what it is, yeah? In the black community, the word mental is like it's like the kryptonite.
It's like a boogeyman
But I
type
don't
thing,
even
innit?
think it's about mental. It's about just the seeking help because of how we're raised.
Mm.
We're raised to say whatever happens in this house stays in this house.
I'm-
You shut your mouth, kind of thing.
It's either that,
that-
or
I'm
we're gonna pray about it. We're just gonna go
cool.
pray.
So I'm gonna go to a culture aspect. So for people, being from Ghana, yeah, like when you see a man on the road and it's a madman.
Mm.
Do you get me? Why is he a madman? Because he's lost his state of mind, mental health, innit? So, pardon me. So you'll say something like, you know, wabadam. So wabadam means like, you're mad, innit? You're mental. So if I've got something wrong, mental health or issues, something wrong with me, I am not going to go and tell my family, because obviously family speak and they'll go, whoa, he's mad, innit? He's a madman. Do you know what I mean? So you keep it to yourself. And also as men, innit, we're never seen as people that, you know, talk about our emotions, because mental health is also part of your emotion. Do you get me? We're not taught to express our emotions. You know, as boys, you trip and you fall. What do you say? Don't cry. Do you know what I mean?
So you think that build up?
So it is a build up from when we're very young, because we're taught as boys, we're not taught to show emotion. The only time a man will technically cry is at a funeral.
Or the emotion we do display will be anger.
There
It's
you
either
go.
anger or happiness. We don't ever express upset.
Yeah.
You get me?
Um,
And you know, it's, and obviously then you get down to, oh well, that's not
Masculine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you get me? So then there's like, oh well, I can't really I don't want to cry in front of my bedrooms because you can think I'm a pussy. All of that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
And women do contribute towards this as well.
Because you cry, then some man don't want to cry in front of the woman, and she uses it against you. And I go, oh yeah, you little crybaby. So it's what do? I build up these emotions to myself, and then when a man goes and does something erratic, and then he boxes a man, and then a man ends up drops dead, and he's there.
It's mad, yeah, because we're just
It's
saying
real.
with the whole with the girlfriend things and what kind of like. I don't know if you lot saw interviews Easy Mills did with that guy D that was on Man
Yeah.
on the Wall,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
and he was like,
He's alcoholic, yeah.
the point where he was able to open up to his girl and just be vulnerable. I was like, his turning point was the point where he was like, okay, cool, like I need to sort myself out. He's saying once he got to that point where like she made him feel like
It's okay.
it's okay, and he could literally open up and cry and just show all his weaknesses and vulnerabilities to her.
Yeah.
That's the point when he was just like, raw, like I need to sort my shit out.
And that should be, that definitely is the right point.
But that's the thing, is it's weird because we will call each other, that's my brother, it's not even my friend, that's my brother, that's family, anything you need, anything, I'm there. But then those are the same people you won't turn to.
Oh, I phone you all the time, innit?
Yeah, but no, but your thing's different, because even last year, I think it was when you had when you did the interview,
Yeah.
right? Imagine that was the first time I had heard half of that stuff.
Yeah.
So in a weird way, it was selfish. But you know when you sit there and you think, wait, am I a dickhead? So you go and tell these people, but you spoke to me yesterday and you didn't tell me what was wrong. Wait, hold on. Like, it's selfish.
Do you know what it is? It was selfish, but I think that was for me, that was the right way for you lot to hear me out. I want you to hear me out from a different see me in a different light and just hear me out.
Yeah, but I remember I sat there and I watched it and I was like, Premps on this? All right, cool, let me take this in. And I watched it and I was like, it was almost like, so why didn't you just tell me? Like, what's wrong with you? You tell me all your other nonsense. Yeah.
This is the thing.
What, this? You
know
don't
what it
come to me
is?
with.
You know
It
what
really
it is?
matters.
You know, I wanted you not to listen to me about no interruptions.
Fair enough.
Listen to me, take it in, and then question me later. And then we can sit down and talk about
After, because you go through the emotion, you go through the, wait, am I a mug? So you didn't phone me. And you want to pick up the phone like blood. So you couldn't phone me. This is how you have to tell, man. But then on the flip side, you're like, rah. If you really deep it, you're like, what did I do to make you not feel comfortable enough to tell me?
nothing.
No, but you see, this is what you do in your house.
yeah,
You start
yeah,
thinking
yeah,
like,
yeah,
rah,
yeah.
so do I make you feel uncomfortable or something? Because I'm like, blood, I've known you, like, we've been around each other from you was 15. What's going on?
Yeah.
I've known everything. But this major thing here that was making you sick, this major thing here that if you weren't mentally strong enough could have went totally left.
Nearly went totally left.
And I didn't know. So if you didn't come to this point, I would have just got a call. I mean, like, right, man's not here no more, or you understand? Still not understood.
Yeah.
Why?
I get, and I think that's where I got to the point where it's okay. I could phone everyone or message everyone individually. No, I'm gonna take it to the next level. Let me do this here. So, like I said, you all can watch it without no interruptions and take it in, and then we talk in it. Do you get me? And until this day, I still feel it was the best thing to do because my mom and dad watched it. Because if I go and sit down and talk to my mom and dad, especially my mom's gonna interrupt me every second, and she's gonna interject to certain things. No, watch it deep, understand it, then come talk to me. And it did allowed a lot of conversation between me and like in my family members, my cousins, even my aunts and uncles. A lot of conversations where it was just like, you know, sometimes we feel the support that we give to you is, oh, you can do it, this is that and that. Or whereas sometimes I should just pick up the phone and ask you, how's your day?
That's a big deal though.
How you doing? You know, how's things going on at work? How's things going on at home? Those little questions there can trigger a big conversation. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Do you reckon they can though?
Yes, they can.
Because do you not feel like the way we operate now, everything is like a passing pleasantry? So I will ask you the question, but I'm not really interested in the answer. It's just a nicety because I've seen you.
It depends.
So I'll be like,
it depends who it is.
no, but you know, like there's different. There's Premps, how are you? I ain't spoken to you in a minute. What's going on? And there's, you good, yeah?
But then,
you know what I mean?
You will know by the tone of my voice and the answer I give to you if I'm alright or not.
Then you'll be able to pick up something.
Because I can phone both of you, and if I don't get the joy for you or the joy for you, I know there's a problem, and I'll pick at it. Yo, you sure you're good, fam? And you tell me you're good, and we'll put down the phone. Nah, then you're not good. And I will message you and tell you, yo, is everything alright? Shout me. And I got one of my boys, CJ. God bless him. He was, when I was going through my stages, he was one that he'll shout me and yo, it's like, yo, Premps. I'm like, yo, you good, fam? I'm alright, man. You good, fam? Yeah, I'm cool. Alright, cool. Nah, you ain't good, Premps, man. Well, go on, let's talk. I'm good. Nah, I'm not getting off the phone. Alright, yeah, man. Boom. And till this day, he still does it. And don't get me wrong, I still have my moments. I have moments where, like, bruv, I could wake up in the morning and I just lie in my bed for like 4 hours. 4 hours. I have my moments, you know. But the power of conversation sometimes is how are you can just trigger off. And sometimes it could be the most randomest person that will ask you that.
But it's a scary place to be, bro.
It is a scary place to be because sometimes you just don't know how to release.
No, but it's the fear of that release. For me personally, it's the, if I start, I don't know if I can stop. So I would rather not speak because genuinely, all right, if you call me, for example, and you be like, yo, Jay, you good? I could say and we could leave it there, or I could say no. But what comes after that no might take 5 hours.
That's fine.
No. But we're busy people. So you could phone me and be like, yo, fam. I'll be like, what are you doing? listen, I'm just flying up here, flying up there. But you're right.
Nah, but you have
For me to
understand-
start that conversation and for you to turn around and go, bro, I need to go inside here. That's too much for me personally.
There was a day I think Jay sat with me for like 9 hours.
You know what?
It was time. We sat a miles for time.
No, but you see, this is what it is.
But this thing, that's what I said. If you phone me and if I phone you and you tell me no, I'm gonna stop what I'm doing and be like, where are you?
Yeah, but Jay is the uncle, innit? Like Jay's the uncle of the group, innit?
Yeah.
So you know what it is. Some people are just easier to talk because Jay's more peaceful, like naturally.
Yeah, but now
it's more of
but you gotta look at it as this right. As we're getting older, right? Yeah. Remember, we're parents, so our lives are very different. If I pick up the phone and I phone you and ask you everything, right? You tell me no. I've got to stop what I'm doing. Why? I can't. You can't tell me no and then I put down the phone.
Yeah.
Because if something happens, and I was the last person you spoke to, that's guilt on my shoulders for the rest of my life.
I just don't say no. I say I'm good.
Yeah, but then you think you need to break that barrier.
That's the point I'm at as well. That's what I find myself in. It's like, obviously, like we were saying before we even started recording, before anyway, that everybody goes through it at some point, innit? And when you said that, sometimes you're afraid to say, nah, actually, I'm not all right, because you don't know where that's going to lead after that.
Yeah.
You don't know, now I'm going to have to reveal everything. Am I even at that point where I want to reveal everything? Like, I don't even fully understand how I feel right now. Are they going to understand
and
me?
You've got so many friends that it's like, so if you phone me and you say, yo, you good, and I have the 6 hours with you, then Jay phones me over nothingness. And then he goes, blood, you sound a bit funny, you all right? Am I going to have that 6 hours again?
Possibly, then you might have to.
But no, but this is it. And for me, like with you, I respected when I watched it. I was like, all right. And even as a friend, it was more of I got to be a bit more vigilant. Because there's a lot of times where, because of life, I can hear something's not right. But I know right now, I ain't got the time to pursue this. So if I've asked you if you're okay and you've said yes, I've just accepted that yes in the heat of the moment because we're all up and down. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when I looked at it, I was like, all right, cool. How does man pattern this differently now? Because that's a lot for any individual to go through. We all have our own stuff.
Yeah.
But when you see someone that you're around on a very regular basis, you talk to multiple times a week, reveal something that you had no idea about. It makes you proper question yourself.
Yeah, it is scary.
Like, according to doctors, I have some level of depression and it's been there for like a decade. Like a whole 10 years. I've been on this mad emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
And it took last year, I went therapy. But I went through the NHS route. I went to my doctor. Yeah. Doctor referred me, prescribed me antidepressants and everything. Like the whole.
What do you like? What's your opinion on like the actual medication?
Do you know what it is? Things had got so bad that I was like, why not take it? What's the worst that can happen? Even though in my head I'm like, this is silly, innit? But I took them a couple of times. I'm not gonna lie. I took like, they give you 6 weeks.
6 weeks worth.
I think it's about 6 weeks worth in one go.
Yeah.
And then I renewed it. And then halfway through that, I was like, this is dumb. Because if I'm taking this thing and I'm going to therapy, how do I know which one's working?
Yeah. Because I feel like with antidepressants, it kind of is suppressing the issue, not dealing with the issue.
Exactly. But when your issue, imagine you got an issue that technically can't be dealt with because it's continuous. What do you then do? Could you see, for example, if you're depressed because of death, someone's died.
How does taking tablets help?
No, but they've died, innit? So eventually you get past that.
Of course, yeah.
because you accept, okay, they're not here, they're at peace,
Yeah.
etc. Not to say you ever forget them, but you can move on from the situation.
Grieving has no time.
Whereas with me, my thing came from pressure. It never came from like a loss per se. It came from the pressure of, like, you man know, 3 sons, 18 months.
Yeah.
Like boom, boom, boom. You understand?
Shoot, don't miss.
but when that happened, it was like, what do you mean? But because of how it's happening, it's, you just got to get on with it. All right, they're here.
So
Cool.
you ain't having the time to process things. You're just
As I'm
going.
processing one, the
Another.
next one's here. Then I'm
Next
processing that one,
And
and the
boom,
next one's
another
here.
one.
You're just on the train, going,
And it's
going,
continuous. And then you got work. Then you got, like, the pressure of being a man living with your mum is wild in itself, right? So you're trying to be a man in one realm, a son in one realm. Then you got to deal with the mothers of these children and their differences, as well as the children's differences.
It's a lot.
And then that was off the back of me, like, I had been unemployed for a year, so I was finally getting back on my feet, had little money, little raving, and it was like, boom, here's a you, and it was like, whew. And my mum was like, don't worry, I got you. I said, all right, cool, we're back in this. Then it was like, next one's coming. I said, oh jeez. My son was born 2 days before I lost my job. Imagine that.
So then 2 days later, you lost your job.
Damn.
So, but imagine, I know I was losing the job because the pressure of him knowing he's coming, I wasn't working. I was selling cars.
Yeah.
And imagine, people are coming, can I buy this car? And I'm like, yeah, go in the office, speak to someone. Like, I'm not even pennying it.
Yeah.
So you've got a newborn, one already here, no job. Like, you're paying for your car, you're doing all of this stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And remember, coming from a background of not having a dad, not being here is not an option now.
Yeah.
So now we're juggling this. Then it's child number 3, and you're like, you know, you just end up laughing. 'Cause I remember before Press, I said, right, you never guess what? Imagine I got a next one, cuz. And he's like, you're lying. And now I've got 3 sons, 3 different ages, 3 different mums, 3 different stages.
Do you think, because I find with men sometimes when they're going through things, they pick up obviously different coping mechanisms. So it might be alcohol, drugs, but women is one of them. And do you think that maybe contributed into your rack up of
The
kids in
children.
that short space of time, because you were going through it initially and
So he
then
was having that
to
temporary.
cope with it, you was
No, I don't think that's what that was. Because it happened in such quick succession that it wasn't even like, wait, this is too much for me. It was almost like when they all came, that's when it got
That's
too
when
much.
okay.
It was like, whoa, wait, what's going on here? Like, imagine it's like the rug was pulled from underneath me and I don't know what to do now. And when I phoned my dad's like, boy, well, if they're never there, then would never there. You know, like, he done something mad, like, Rasta man thing. Man's telling me, well, boy, they're a blessing. If they weren't meant to be here, then they wouldn't be.
have been
And I'm
here,
saying,
yeah.
that's nice and that,
But I'm still
but I'm
struggling
hearing it.
here.
big man. And then my mum's on some, the next one, beer, kiss, tea, and madness. So I'm saying, all right, cool. We got to deal with that and we move on. But in the midst of this, you have a child, so then your environment changes. So your brethrens that you could go out and spend till 5 o'clock in the morning, you can't do that. But their life hasn't changed. So they continue. So then you build a level of resentment towards that. Like, wait, you don't even holler at me no more. You're meant to be my brethren.
Yeah.
But for them, it's like, but you got the you. I
ain't
don't.
got the you, so-
I'm off.
Yeah, but I'm living my life.
Yeah. So you get that level of resentment, and then you just remember, I was the raver. I was out. And then it just like, well, I might as well sit in my house because I guess that's what you're meant to do when you have kids. You just pick them up and stay home and deal with them. Time goes on. You lose a job, you gain a job, you lose a job, you gain a job. The pressures, one baby mum, completely cuckoo. You take my son, you give my son, you take my son, you give my son. You go through court, you go through solicitors, you this, you that. It's all too much. And you're trying to be so many people to so many people at the exact same time.
So sometimes you're just thinking, when can I press the pause button? But you can't.
Because there's no time for
There's
me.
no time to stop. Yeah.
I'm a dad. Because remember, like, Jamal don't even exist no more.
Daddy.
Your daddy. Your name is irrelevant now. I'm Marcia's son. I'm these people's baby father. I'm these people's dad. I've got big titles, but not one of them is Jamal. You understand? And then even to the man them now, I'm antisocial because I don't come out no more.
So you don't exist.
Yeah, because I don't feel like it. Like, everything feels like an effort. And if I got money in my pocket, my first thought is, what do the kids need?
Yeah.
And I was putting pressure on myself. I got 3 sons. They're a year apart each. So if I buy 1 coat, I must buy 3, even if they don't need it. If I buy 1 trainers, they must have all the same trainers, all the same coats, all the same tracksuits. I don't want anyone to feel left out.
Grow up and say, "Right, this one got this treatment, and that one got
Even
that
when
treatment."
they didn't need it, they had to have it.
Yeah.
So and I was working 2 jobs. We was at William Hill.
Yeah.
I'm working William Hill. I'm trying to study, go adult uni, and I'm working security at night. So I'm working like 18 hours a day. It all got too much. And then I just shut down, like I wouldn't talk. Like, ended up having anxiety, like certain things, like I'd lose like my breath almost, like I'd have to sit down, and it's almost like a panic.
Yeah.
And then I don't want to talk to no one, don't want to go nowhere. But if I'm out, you won't know there's nothing wrong.
Yeah, because your surroundings is
Like, I'm out.
Paint a picture.
Yeah,
innit?
you paint a
know,
picture,
you
man.
put on,
You paint a
put on your
facade.
happy face.
Everyone's birthday, I'm jumping in. I'm cussing everyone. We're running joke.
But then when you get home and you lie back on that bed,
But
Everything gets, and you know what as well, like, you know what I think is playing a big part in that type of mental health is like social media. Because when you're constantly looking at people's ups and people's highlights and people's wins, and
it makes your life seem
it gives
so
you
shit.
and it gives you a full sense of reality. You just automatically think like everybody's winning, and I'm just here.
And you look around you, and even if you know your brethren don't have no money, you know. You'll look and you'll see man's car and you'll be like, but I ain't got a new car. I ain't got that. So, and you feel some type of way. It's not like you're envious of your friend, but you
just feel like I should be there too.
You should be there too.
And then when man are saying, yo, I'm going on holiday, and I'm like, So it's easier to say, nah, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
Rather than saying, I can't go.
Yeah.
And then all of that builds and builds and builds, and you find so many ways to justify it. I didn't want to go anyway, or later I'd rather buy this, or and that's my thing. So then I went and bought a motorbike. Some mad midlife crisis thing.
That's what we do. We end up buying things to give that appearance that we are okay.
I had 3-4 kids. I bought a convertible. Where would they go in? Where did they sit? But I bought it because I was like, later, no one's not going to tell me nothing.
Yeah.
I'm going to get this because this makes me happy. And it lasted less than a year.
Do you know one of the things I got taught in therapy was, and it sounds mad, sometimes you got to be selfish and care for yourself.
Yeah.
But of course.
You have to be.
And
sometimes you got to just say, it is me day. And, I'm going to do this for me.
But that's not enough sometimes. Because in the wide scheme of things, like, you may say today's my day. But in my head, I feel under such pressure that one day is not enough.
Yeah.
So if I can't have the week that I feel I need, I'm not taking anything.
Yeah, but then it's baby steps though, and that's the process. It's baby steps. So for me, it's like, if I get that one weekend or one day to myself, I appreciate that time. Because if I know come tomorrow it's daddy life and that, I've set my mind and everything good. Okay, cool. I'm mentally ready to step back into that world. Sometimes we gotta be selfish and pamper ourselves. It might be going out and buying that one piece of trainer. Do you know what? I'm gonna buy that £200 crap. I deserve it. I'm gonna treat myself. And we have to be selfish and treat. Dude, sometimes it's the littlest things. Fuck it. Do you know what? I'm gonna buy me a whole Nando's platter today. Those little things. Sometimes it's the smallest things.
Saying
and be
that
selfish.
as well, there's also, I think, like a proper thin line for doing it because I deserve it or whatever, and just doing it to mask, and then you get in. So like you say, you buy your Nando's platter, and then you find yourself every fucking weekend buying that Nando's platter, and you know what I'm saying?
True. So you got to balance it out to
Yeah,
see.
But the balance is hard to get.
It's hard, yeah.
Because I went through that where I just buy trainers.
Because you might have bought that bike and be like, you know what, I really like this bike, and then you say you're buying a convertible, and it just gets to a point where now you just feel like I'm just gonna buy stuff now.
Yeah, you're just buying stuff, or you're entertaining yourself with it's distractions. They're not actually dealing with the problem.
But then it's facts, yes, a distraction, but then you also, like I said, about being selfish. But that's when it comes to the understanding point, though. So you have to understand what you're doing is, I'm just treating myself. Like I thought I deserve this. I'm gonna treat myself, but then understand that come tomorrow, it's going back into my realm of, this is my life. This is what I got to deal with. Once you understand that balance, it's not a distraction no more. Just like I said. So like sometimes like I might be walking through like Brent Cross and I just walk in Foot Locker. I never went Brent Cross to go Foot Locker or nothing. What, Premps? Deserve that still.
Treat yourself.
Boom, treat myself. Do you get me? and once you figure out that balance, then you understand it's not a distraction no more. Do you understand?
That's why I find it hard, because I can buy it, but it's still, like there's like an empty space that you're trying to fill. And I've bought the trainers now, and then I've got home, and I'm just like, to a certain degree, I'll get home and I'll be like, I might take these back still.
The thing is this, and this is what I learned. You see, I used to have that mentality, and you see the thing is this, right? We're having that mentality, but one day we're gonna leave this world, So all these doubts and stuff that you're having, but when you die, fam, that's it. Your kids are gonna live.
That all seems a little bit morbid for me still.
It's
the truth.
It's the
but
truth.
I don't think
you know
that far.
Do you know? Do you know it is? And the thing was this, right? Yeah. I had to deep it, like, and I was like, rah, this is true, because we don't know if there's life after death. We don't know that. So you're trying to tell me when I leave this world, and he said this, he goes, you got a daughter. I said, yeah. He goes, okay, cool. Let me say something to you. You might, let's say when you get old and you pass, your daughter's gonna cry, your daughter's gonna miss you, but then her life's gonna go on, because she might have kids of her own. Do you get me? So having this mindset of doubt all the time, I can't do this and I can't do that, life continues. Your grandparents are gone. That's like, your mum and dad, life continues for you. That cycle's just gonna keep repeating. So all these doubts you're having, you can have them, but sooner or later you're gonna have to jump past that hurdle and say, you know what, I gotta live life.
I'll be real with you. I get where you're coming from, and that's like that place of clarity must be amazing to be in it. But I struggle to get there, because you see, like as I said, my thing's based upon pressure. It's not necessarily based upon a loss. So it's the pressure of even being myself. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because when you start to question, who am I really? Am I this person that I'm sitting here talking to you lot? Or am I really the guy that sits in my house listening to slow jams in silence? Or
there's nothing wrong with that, bruv.
I'm just saying. Or how can I explain? Like, on appearance, if you don't know me, I'm a big black guy, gold tooth, beard, tattoos. There's a stereotype that goes with that. Even if you look at it on paper, postcode NW10, it all fits into this stereotype. So when people see me, before I even open my mouth, they've already judged me. So then there's this pressure of, now I've got to prove
that I'm not that person.
So I have to be over nice to you, even when I don't want to be. I've walked into an office now, I tower above all these little people that are looking at me. So I have to, hi, you're right. Yeah, I have to be this guy, even when I'm not.
To be that, become that teddy bear type of, like, I'm harmful type of.
But this is it. So I've gone in there on some, hi guys, you're right. I've done this thing. So then, just to appease them, to make them feel more comfortable for something that's not my fault. I was born this is my genetics. I never chose to be bigger than everyone else. It is where it is. But then, once you don't become comfortable enough, now you start tech man for idiot, because you think, he's a teddy bear one, big gummy bear, he ain't gonna do nothing. So then when I bug out now, it's like,
he's a madman.
What's going on? But it's so hard to balance that, because remember, at home you might have to be daddy, so you got to be disciplinarian and be strong. And if you got a girlfriend, you got to be the leader of your household, so you got to be strong. But it's this balancing act of I've got to be strong enough to lead, but sensitive enough for you to still talk to me, and playful enough for you lot to be my kids, but still stern enough for you to understand. And then I've got to be this menacing figure to certain people so you leave me alone. But I've got to be gentle to these people so you don't feel intimidated by me.
I hear where you're coming from, but what I've learned is I have to be only by myself, innit?
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, remember,
So
to
for
your
you-
mum, right? Your mum would expect you to be someone a certain way, because when you go to your mum's house, even if you're in the angriest of moods, you still, you're right, mum, how are you? You still got to do that thing. You can't go in there, mum, you know what? Fucking hell, you can't do that. So you gotta become a little bit timid.
Because you've always you respect. That's the home.
right.
You respect your mother.
But then, to each of your children, for example, I have to be a different person because they're doing different things. So for my daughter, it's I love you, daddy, and I've got to be that guy, and let's watch your silly little programs. But then to my oldest son, I've got to be, you've got to have now the fear of God because you're not behaving. And then what I'm trying to say to you is the pressure of being so many different things to so many different people simultaneously.
I think what you gotta find the balance to narrow it down to one thing. I am Jamel.
Yeah.
So I am Jamel, the son and the dad. So like when you say like, okay, I gotta be this way with my sons because they're misbehaving, you gotta be that one.
Yeah, but the question is
getting to that point.
Yeah, you gotta find
that's the thing.
you gotta find yourself to mold your way.
And
it's a
it's
journey.
and it's not knowing
Yeah.
who that person was to begin with. That's my issue. Because when I look back, for example, and I look at even pictures of me raving and stuff back in the day, I look and I think, was I really enjoying myself? Or was I just there because this is where I'm meant to be
Keeping
at
up
this?
appearances type of thing,
You was enjoying the moment. That's
Not-
what it was.
yeah,
You were
but-
enjoying. You was enjoying the moment and the people that you was with. Because at that time, like when you go back if you look back in there when we was raving a lot, it was I liked being around these people. We all shared a same common, that was to go out and rave.
But I think it comes back to like what I was saying before as well, with like the coping mechanism. Some people, and even you touched on it, will go out not wanting to be out.
Yeah.
It's a coping mechanism. It's something that
You do it to
makes you feel okay for that
Yeah,
period of
I
time.
go
But then when
out-
you get home, you're just like that hasn't really helped. To still feel like shit.
But then you do.
But then you'll do it again.
week in and week
Yeah.
out.
It's the
week out.
pressures, and then you go into regret mode as well. Like, for example, there's a lot of people I see that are quite successful in their given realm, that at one stage we were all around each other. So then when you look at their level of success and then you look at your own, you're like, wait, what? Like One Extra, Ramel London. That was my brethren. Like, yo, Rem, you good? Like, phone. K Kurd, big comedian. Me and him used to have a radio show on Westside FM.
Yeah.
Ori Styler, big comedian. Just to say, if you're not a couple people, like, each other's numbers, call you, all right, how's things, talk, go to man's yard, all of these things. So obviously life changes and everyone drifts and whatever the case may be. But when you look at where they are now, and then I look at myself, as much as you can't compare yourself and
Naturally you do.
yeah. So then even though I've got children, they don't, and to them that might be a massive achievement. To me, I'm just like, but
I could have.
yeah, like, I
If
could
things were a bit different,
I could have been
there.
there. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? So it proper, and everything I'm saying, as much as they came in bursts, imagine it all piling together. And then it's just there in this
It's a
clump.
recipe for disaster.
And you've got one child. So even if I talk to you and you go, yeah, fam, I hear you, you don't understand. You understand? Because our situations are different. So then I feel like, no one ain't going to understand, so I have to keep my mouth shut. But now I'm angry that no one understands. So, and I can't talk because nothing happens. And it goes in a circle to the point where you literally just shut down and become numb to everything. But in that numbness, it's like you're in a dark hole.
But you know when you say like we don't understand because we don't have, let's say, the same amount of kids that you have. Is that you just telling yourself that because we don't have the same numbers? Because how do you know we actually do understand?
No. It's not just about the number. It's the second. I don't know. This is the wickedest thing. You might be the one person in this world that actually does understand. But because we talk to ourselves before we talk to others. I've told myself, because it didn't happen in the same way. You don't get it.
You see, and that's one of the dangers, because I used to do that, but I don't do that no more. I actually will tell you, and I want to hear what you're going to tell me, because you might be telling me something that maybe in the back of my head, I know it's there, but I just want to know, can you see what I'm saying, or can you hear what I'm saying? And then once you tell me, then I'm like, yes, or that's probably what it is.
And on the flip side, sometimes you don't want to hear the truth. I'll be real with
And
you.
on the flip side as well,
you don't want to hear the truth. I never wanted to hear the truth.
On the flip side as well, as being, say, if someone has got an issue and they're coming to you, speaking to you, like, I think the person has to be big enough to sometimes say, I haven't got a fucking clue. I haven't got the answers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But then
it's enough time like we get into a position where we feel like we have to help, we have to try and sometimes the best thing you can say is, I haven't got the fucking answers. I actually don't know.
And sometimes
the best thing you can do is like, but you know what?
Like when someone asks,
we're going to try and find someone who can.
Or sometimes man just want to vent.
Do you know what I mean?
And that's the mistake I make that I hate people making on me. Like sometimes he'll call me on the maddest crud. We've had this discussion many times. And I know he's not going to carry this thing out. But instead of letting him talk, I want to stop him and tell him to calm down. And I hate when people do that to me. You know I'm not going to shoot no one. You know I'm not going to stab no one. Just let me talk.
Big up Justin, because Justin can tell you how many phone I use, or Justin can tell you how many phone calls I'm like just raging down the phone, and he's quiet on the phone. I'm like, what the fuck you quiet for? But I just carry on in it, and then you just find, because sometimes you just want to vent.
Yeah, you burn yourself out eventually.
Like by the time you put your, I'm tired, bro. You get me? You know, sometimes someone will just say one thing to you, but is that really smart? Fuck, you're not smart. You know
I don't care if it's smart or not.
Is that really going to change anything?
Cool.
Yeah, but you see, that's the thing. That's why you don't phone certain man, because you don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
You can't phone Jay and be like, blood, listen, I got 8 knives in my car now. I'm on wickedness. He'll be like, okay, you stab everyone,
then what?
and then what you gonna do?
Now, but Jay will tell you, alright, then cool, go do it then.
Yeah, blood, you know them ones there.
And the thing is, like, you're like, why are you telling me to do it? I don't want to. You know, but
Jay's the one person you want to hold you back, and he's like, no, go fight, go on.
Because the thing is, for me, yeah, I'm of the impression that most time when people come to your device, they already know what they want to do.
yeah,
They just want you to confirm that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you come to me and say, I'm going to do this, and I say, why are you going to do that? You know that's not going to do anything. And I know that's what I know you're stupid. So in your head, you already know that that's what I want to hear from Jay. I just wanted to confirm that me not doing nothing is actually
okay.
cool. I'm not a pussy by just saying.
But you know what's scary? The one day you want that, Jay might be like, no, you know what? They are taking you for a dickhead.
Right now.
And you be like, huh?
This was in the budget.
I didn't expect to ride out.
You know, like when someone asks you direction, you don't know where you're going. But yeah, you know what? Yeah, take that left and that right there. Good
man.
answer.
Man.
Now, you know, it's hard.
Yeah.
But one thing I'll just tell you, you know what you've just done? You've just opened up. You just opened up about everything. Probably that stuff that you probably see you wouldn't even talk to us about. You just opened up.
No, but the thing is, I've got to the point after therapy, because obviously when that led to me getting my own yard and stuff, because I started looking at things a little bit different, and I don't mind speaking now. I'm a lot more comfortable with speaking, and I'm a lot more comfortable and acceptant that you're not meant to understand. Because you know everyone's looking for that understanding. I get you're not meant to understand because you haven't walked my path. So guess what? You may never get it. No matter what language I say it to you in, you may never understand, and that's okay. You may never agree with me, and that's okay. What's not okay is to not, if I respect you, and if I say you're my friend, you're my brother, whatever the case may be, to not give you the opportunity to be there for me. Because I wouldn't like it if you done it to me. If something was wrong with you and you didn't tell me, I'd be angry.
Yeah.
So how can I be angry with you, but I won't come to you and give you that opportunity myself?
I think, you know what it is? I think when I spoke up, for me was more about, do you know what? There's a lot of men out there that go through probably the same walks of life that I go through, different walks of life that are bottling up a lot of things, yeah. And for some reason, like if you hold me in some high regard or whatever, well, look at me, I'm telling you, like, yo, emotionally, mentally, I got issues, but I'm speaking up about it. So if you're going through something, go through it. So like, you know, when we went carnival last year, when it was me, you and Peng, and we went, yeah, I remember you lot when we got to Volcano Sound.
Yeah.
I lost you lot for a little bit.
Yeah.
I was chatting to one of my bedrooms, and he came up, he grabbed me, he was like, "Yo, I saw your thing last week." And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "You know what? There was a lot of things I was building up. I was sitting there, I was watching it with my girl, and I'm not gonna lie, yeah. After I watched your interview, I sat with my girl and I just opened up about a lot of things, like his mum passed, and yo, like, no homo, we had a big hug out in Carnival. Like, man was just like holding, and I could hear him like getting emotional and that. And I said, bro, bruv, listen, bruv, like, if it took for me to do that, for you to speak up, that touches me even more, bruv. Because I feel like I said, as men here, we bottle up a lot of things. There's a high rate in suicide within black men. Do you know what I'm saying?
Black men are afraid to admit that they're damaged.
Yeah.
And that they're not all there. They're not all the way.
And then that attaches itself to women, because then hurt people.
Yeah.
So we're not necessarily bad people.
No.
But then you're so damaged, and as you said, you haven't revealed that. So then you meet a woman, and your whole mission is to prove how undamaged you actually are.
But then we're not realizing you're actually damaging her.
And then each day that you're pretending to be somebody that you're truly not, you're damaging yourself further.
Yeah.
And then when you reveal your truth, even if it's not that bad, it's just different to what you said. It's a shambles now.
Yeah.
And I had this discussion the other day, yeah. And I said, like, I can't speak for white men, but as a black man and you got a woman, you have to become this walking contradiction. Like, you need to be a bad man enough to put her in her place so she can't take you for Egypt and defend her on road, but you got to be sensitive enough to her emotions. And then you've got to be the leader of the household, but leave her enough to be independent. Like, everything you got to do, it's like a back and forth. You understand? Like, you have to be this chameleon.
You have to be this well-rounded
chameleon, but
you have to be this intelligent gunman, drug dealer with a 9 to 5.
I think with that. But then I think sometimes you got to learn as the black male. Sometimes you just got to sit back and then go on passenger mode and let them be the captain of the ship in certain journeys.
No, you do, but you remember
how do you get to that? How you're raised to be the alpha
way.
male. You're raised to be the. You are.
And remember, we're trying to be alpha males,
but we're not
amongst each other.
We're not. The thing is this, right? Yeah. We're being raised by our parents from their generation mindset.
Yeah.
Leading into this generation where they don't have a total clue what's going on, so they never had the social medias and stuff like that. Like, you with your girl and your girl's sitting there and she's seeing her friend. Oh my God! Look, he just bought her a new car, and like. In your head, just like, fuck them, but that's pressure. Yeah. Because you're thinking, what? Like, she's looking at them, oh my God, they just bought a new 5-bedroom house. Fuck that friend, innit?
Like, I saw, I was listening to Charlemagne last week, and he was like, we're literally like in abusive relationships with our phones and social media.
Facts.
Because, like,
it's bullying.
It's something that we fucks us up, but we can't let go of it.
I'll be real with you. I know things rattle me. Like, I know, but I've told myself it doesn't. Yeah. Like, I'll look at a man doing something and he'll be like, oh, that looks wavy. Like,
but yeah.
And then I'll look at my bank account. I'll be like, all right, cool.
Don't get me wrong. Generally, like, I'm happy for people. It's like, if my bedroom buzz, congratulations, like, bought your yard, man, like,
but I'm happy for you.
I'm happy for you, like,
but it makes you question your life.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not happy for you.
It did. Like I said, for me, it did back it. It used to make me question, but now I've realized in life, I'm me in it. I'm only capable of what I can do for myself in it. I don't like back in the day. If I saw my bedroom bought a yard, I'd be like, yeah, man, I gotta buy myself a yard in the next 3-4 years. But if I don't buy a yard till I'm 50, fam, I ain't lost out.
Yeah.
And that's, I had to reprogram myself, and I luckily I had the opportunity to press pause on life for a split second and say to myself, I can't control what goes on elsewhere. I've seen people post up, they've just bought a new yard, and then 2 hold on, what happened to the yard you posted? you live in a facade for social. I've come to realize that a lot of people live a facade for social media. So when I see certain things, it doesn't rattle me like it used to. It doesn't even rattle me at all. It's cool.
But to get to that point, it's very hard,
it was
especially
hard.
I think for us at the age we're at, we grew up in a period where we're kind of still new to social media. Social media hasn't been
around
that long.
Yeah.
But for someone who's say 18,
This
like,
is all they've
this
known.
is all they've known. So imagine seeing all this fancy shit online, everything, and you can just not get it. You're just not.
But that's why
pressures it must be putting on you.
That's why we could survive, because remember, we could only see our immediate. So, and remember, if you grew up in a certain area, generally we all kind of had the same stuff. So it didn't matter. We didn't know what my man in South had, what my man up the road. We didn't know what these people had.
Yeah.
But now we are comparing ourselves to people we will never encounter. All right, and it's not a conscious decision to compare yourself, but even we might even look at a man and be like, right, you got kind of whammy now. Shit, I need to go gym, you know.
Yeah.
Like even something
Small
as
things
small
like
as that, it can be motivation, but then it can be a thing where
Can be damaging as well.
hella damaging.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you do then? Because that's when it starts to lead you down the road of making stupid choices. And I can say that firsthand. You start to do things you know in your heart, I shouldn't do this. And it results in you get in prison, for example, because you're trying to compete with the masses. Maybe not for yourself, but for your family. I want to do this, so this is a better situation based upon what you're seeing around you. And then you end up just doing dumb stuff.
Facts.
Dumb stuff. And then when you take a step back and you're in that silence and you're like, bro, why did I do that? There is no logical pathway to why you did this.
So,
everything is based upon a feeling. How I felt in that moment, this was the only option for me. Logically speaking, it wasn't.
There's 100 options. We're just not open to them.
We're not open to them. We get into a very defeatist mindset where it's like, it's not going to work. The minute something's suggested, it's not going to work. You shut it down. I'm the king of that. If it doesn't make sense to me, I'm not willing to even try it. It might be the right move, but I'm not willing to try it. And then it's like you become so used to being depressed and in this dark place that's where you're comfortable now. So anything that even looks like light, you don't want no part of it.
Yeah. There's so many levels. Because, like, for me, like, my coping mechanism certain times is just to tell myself that, like, it is what it is type of thing, innit? Like,
It's quite dismissive.
do you know what I mean? I just,
Yeah.
I feel like if I don't accept it, then it doesn't mean anything, innit? So I'm just like, it is what it is. And it gets to a point where that sometimes works in certain situations, but there's certain situations where that's not the right attitude to have. And I find myself, that is just my go-to for everything now. If something's not going my way or I'm unhappy about something, it is what it is. And I kind of just dip into a mode where I'm just not meant to be that, or I'm just not meant to have that. And realistically, in the back of my mind, I'm like, but I don't want this. I want that. I do want to be like that. I do want to be at that point in my life. But maybe I'm just not good enough. Maybe that's just the way it is. And that in itself can be damaging, because you see yourself somewhere, but you feel that
You just accept.
I'm just not meant to be there.
I'm not. Yeah.
But why have we set these limits? Because do you remember being in school and be like, by the time I'm 21, I want to do this. And when you hit 21, by the time I'm 25, I'm going to do this. So when you've hit your 30s now and you're like, right, because in my head, I'd have a big yard and a Range Rover and a this and a that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, right, this is the life I'm living. I done fell off.
You know, it's mad because, you know, I had this conversation with my dad the other day. Yeah. Like I said, my dad, I think we spoke about it in one of the episodes. I said to my dad, apologized to me about something, because I was in year 8 in school. And I remember it was at parents' evening, and one of the teachers was like to me, "Oh, what do you want to do when you get older?" I said, "I want to be a Formula 1 driver." And my dad gave me the biggest kiss teeth ever and told me, "Focus on your books." But like, my dad enjoys Formula 1. That was his sport. That's what he watches. But when he sees Lewis, like, he tells her and tells like, I should have,
Pushed you in that
pushed you
direction.
in that
Should have taken you
direction.
seriously.
Take you serious. But what he does now is, he looks at my daughter, and when he sees her trying to be creative, like my dad will just pull me to the side and be like, "Look, are you watching that? Oh, but she's drawing." He goes, "No. It's more than art. It's creativity. Try and get involved, understand this and that and that." And it was only to the other day when he said to me, "It's I don't want you to make the same mistake I made." Because what you do to that child is you have your child doubting yourself as she's getting older. Like, by the time I'm 30 or 25, she goes, like girls back in the day, by the time I'm 25, I want to be married. 24, ain't even got a boyfriend. Life shattered already.
It's mad because that's how
Life
a lot
is
of women think.
when
I'm 30, I haven't got a child yet.
Yeah.
That can fuck up women.
It's the pressures from family.
It's pressure, yeah.
Being African. I've cousins that they're not even married and, and probably like their friends are married or had kids. Peer pressure. How come you ain't got a husband yet? Why you ain't got kids yet? And it's like, well, but there's no rush, But there's people that became millionaires at 60.
Yeah.
But you know what's mad about what you just said about tradition?
Yeah.
Like, so you're saying in your side, it's why aren't you married yet? Where's your kids? Why have you not hit these milestones? Well, when you grow up kind of on the West Indian side, there is no pressure for that. The most it is why ain't you got youths?
Yeah, there's no pressure for marriage.
Because that's not the construct in which we grew up in. So when you do say, yo, I'm going to get married, say now you're 25 and you say, yo, I'm getting married, it's almost like a whoa. Are you sure you want to do this? You almost get talked out of it. Like, are you sure you want to do this? Because there's big girl out there that you ain't touched yet,
See?
Are you sure this is the realm?
In our cultures, when you're getting married, hey, big party, everyone, everyone bring the money, what we doing, traditional or white, we doing both, boom. There you go.
But this is it. So there's pressures for everyone, and I can only imagine, like for women, when it comes to the colorism and the this and the that, like how much pressures on them. But I feel like because women are a lot more vocal with their issues, we're aware of it a lot more.
Yeah, whereas, women are very
like, I think that's our we're taught to hear
it's because
their
women,
problems.
I think women in society, it's acceptable for women to not be okay and to need
be vulnerable.
help, and to be vulnerable. For men, it's not widely accepted for us to not be okay and to be vulnerable and to want help and to just be in a position of helplessness.
But that's why there's a lot of women that don't know what to do with it. Because there's certain women, if you went to them and said, you know what, like, I'm upset, they'd almost look at you like, what am I meant to do with this? And sometimes people don't take you seriously when you just go to them and say to them like right, today's not a good day. It's almost like, we all have those days, man, don't worry about it. Like, in my darkest moments, I had people telling me, let's cheer up. And I'm like, oh, no shit, Sherlock. I didn't think of that.
It's almost like a default response, isn't it? Like, oh, you'll be all right, man. Like, it's fine, man. You'll be all right tomorrow. Just sleep on it. Or, like we were saying, just pray tonight and you'll be all right, man. Or, you know what I mean? Or something.
Pray, clean your house, bun sage, read this. Like, don't get me wrong. All these things are contributing factors to a more rounded, happy life.
I think when it comes to prayer, it just depends on your mindset, man. Prayer does help, but it helps for some. Depends on how your religious mindset is, isn't it?
Sometimes you're praying, it's almost just to have the conversation, just to release
because it's almost like a type of therapy.
Because remember, prayer. Okay, I think the way how people associate prayer, people think once you go down your hands and knees and you pray, you're going to receive the answer straight away.
Sometimes the answer is you.
Yeah,
like that's
your prayer. Your prayer is supposed to be guidelines.
I don't want to get too deep in it, but like even with prayer, I feel like sometimes people associate prayer with asking. So I'm going to go down and ask God to help me. I'm going to go down and ask God.
There you go.
Rather than treating it as a conversation, saying, God, this is how I feel.
So they're expecting instant answers.
I'm going through this right. You get me? Instead of actually going on your knees and praying and asking for answers, questions, and just talk as if you were talking to somebody.
But then you feel kind of stupid sometimes because you're like, this is fundamentally me talking to myself.
which there's nothing wrong with. When you
No, it's
fundamentally
not.
as well,
But you know, like when
It's
when
just
you
down to
spend
your
all day
mindset.
talking to yourself, and you have had all the conversations you can possibly have with yourself, for you to now go on your knees and have another conversation, which is seemingly with yourself, feels weird. Like I want an answer, but I may not want the answer I've given. I just want the
Yeah.
answer that I want.
that you want, yeah.
And there's not a lot of support. Like I've said it for years, there's not a lot of support for men. There's not a lot of support for fathers, because there's pressures that come with just being a father. Like there's so many support groups for women that they can go to and speak, but there's not a lot of places that a man goes, but I know how you feel.
Yeah.
Come, let me show you how the best to handle this situation. There's a lot of pressure.
And the worst thing is, there's probably things out there. It's just that
They're not apparent.
They're not. Yeah,
they're not pushed. Do you know what I mean? They're not pushed at all. Like even obviously just having this conversation and hearing you lot talk about therapy, I'm like, yo, like I think I actually need to sit down myself and talk to someone, but like it's almost a thing where it's like, where do I start?
Do you know what it is? I'd say, even if you don't feel upset, you don't feel depressed, you feel fine. You have to look at it. You've been on this earth over 30 years. And if we say we live until 80, hypothetically, you've still got another 45 years here. Your brain can only hold so much.
Yeah.
Sometimes the therapy is just to unpack and create a little bit of space to take on the next decade's worth of nonsense.
Yeah.
And so that's all it is. It's literally just unpacking
Yeah, I heard
what's going on in your mind.
Yeah, I heard
And
that
you'll start to
concept, yeah.
connect the dots between things that you didn't even think had any correlation.
Yeah.
Like, speaking to the therapist, I realized a lot of my negative thoughts, or the ways that I thought about things, were attached to my mum. I was the male version of my mum. And the way she thinks about things is not the greatest. But I get it. You came from Jamaica, there's a certain mindset. But now I've adopted that mindset in a whole different environment. It's not healthy.
Yeah, no,
And
you're right still.
The minute you realize that is the minute you're able to move forward. So I would, you see, when it comes to therapy, I was against it, but blood,
I'm gonna do it because
Do it.
I know I need to sit down and talk to somebody. Like you lot say, like I'm the uncle. Like there's only so much.
It's only so much the uncle can take.
There's only so much uncle can take. Like,
who does uncle talk to?
do you know what I mean? I'm the go-to guy, so who do I go to now?
And
Do you know what I mean?
that's a big one, because once upon a time, man was the go-to person, but then who was I
it
going
gets
to?
on top.
Yeah,
it
man.
gets
But
on
do you know
top
what's
of-
bad?
But you know, as I tell people nowadays is, when we have a conversation, I am solution based. We are here to figure out a solution. I'm not here to give you the answers, because I can't give you the answers that you need. Let's figure out a solution to your problem. Let's figure out the why. And once we figure out the why, I'm sure you'll go find out the understanding.
What's crazy to me is we can sit here and have this conversation, and we'll sit here for 2-3 hours and have this talk. But next week, if there's a problem,
Man, they must speak up.
we still won't pick up the phone and call each other. And that's what's bad.
No, I'm following you.
I think we need
Yeah,
to.
but we expect that from you.
we need to get to, like, obviously we're kind of all still new with it, and I think just having conversations like this kind of makes that conversation easier now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because this is the first time I'm hearing you telling me that you're going to therapy. Like, I've never known that. So now I've been flirting with this idea of therapy for so long, and I've got two of my guys sitting next to me who've been there, who've done that. So if I want to know more and then want to be signposted, I know who I can speak to now about that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, just conversations like this makes us having those conversations offline easier. But yeah, man, like, yeah, I definitely feel like I need to go to therapy, because I feel like there's a lot of unpacking I want to do.
There we go.
Like that the way you explained it, in like, unpacking, and I heard someone describe it in the same way. It's almost like a sprinking of a cupboard. You've piled up bare clothes in your cupboard over the years.
Just gotta get rid of some of it.
You gotta get rid of some of it, and then
It's a good.
you find that T-shirt. You're like, oh, raw, like,
It's a good way.
Damn, and
But I ain't worn this in so long.
Do you know
That
what I
shit.
mean? That shit. Why am I still holding on to this?
But what's mad is we're talking about ourselves, and that's wonderful. Yeah. But now we've created a whole new generation that are suffering in some way, and they don't know what they're going through to tell us.
But see, do you remember when I said to the point was we had parents that raised us from their generation's perspective, to raise us for up now, but they don't have a clue what's going on in our generation. The difference between us and them is it's our generation, our sort of kids' generation. There's a very big similarity to it, so we're not too far off from them.
We're more in touch.
We're more in touch.
We're more in touch,
yeah.
and we're of an age where it's as they're growing, we still be youngish. By the time your child's 18, you'll probably be like your mid 40s.
Yeah, I'll be about 40. Yeah,
exactly. I'll be in my 30s still. Actually, I just touched 40, but you still
9 more years for me, bro.
You're still you old, but you're still in that realm. So I think with us and our kids, we will have that slight little like that grip where it'll be like like, yo, what's going on?
No, but
talk to me.
It's because we've experienced the whole social media before it got to a point where it didn't miss us.
Yeah.
It didn't miss us. So we experienced a part of it to the point where we can say to the kids, them like now, like I ain't letting my son have social media. Like I made that decision like recently as well. Like just from reading and watching things like, you know, I'm gonna keep him away from that for as long as possible.
I'm gonna say something that's probably gonna sound real ignorant, innit?
Go on.
But I will feel like a failure if my child comes and tells me they're being bullied on the internet. I will feel like an actual failure because you can log off. Like if my child, now don't get me wrong, I understand social media is a major part. LinkedIn, like you get jobs through social media. Social media is life right now.
I refuse to trace LinkedIn.
No, but what I'm trying to say to you is I will feel like an actual failure if you tell me that it's somebody you don't know in a place you don't know where they're from, but has made you feel like this.
But more time, it's not. It's people that they do know. It's them.
No. I understand that. But and that's for us to manage. But I'm trying to say, like, even you remember when we was younger, and if you didn't have a computer game, you felt some type of way. But it is where it is. But now, if they don't have, for example, Fortnite, they are a social leper. Like they are proper an outcast.
Because you got to remember, it is the accessibility to these things. Remember, in order for us to all have the same game, our parents have to physically go to like a HMV and them Woolworths and those. You had to be with. Remember, not everyone had a PlayStation.
Nah.
Or I had a Sega. A couple of men had a Nintendo.
And you just go to your bridges yard and play.
Yeah. I was the Sonic man, and them man they were
everyone had a
the Mario. you was contempt.
Sega, alright, we'll go your house. Nintendo, alright, we'll go my
But remember, you was contempt with those things, and plus we were. The common thing that we all had was we left our house to socialize together. If it was play football in the park.
These kids socialize from a distance.
Exactly.
They don't know no better.
Because social media, if you really think, it says social, but it makes us so anti-social. Because we've all been together and all been like this. Yeah, you good, yeah? We said, so and we're in the same room, and I will send you a meme for us to laugh in the same room. But I feel like our kids will deal with a whole new set of pressures,
different compared to us.
like a whole,
it's
like
scary. The pressures.
like for example, we've got daughters, so this body image, they are growing up seeing it. They're seeing plastic surgery of. Because remember, when we was younger, plastic surgery was kind of not like a white woman thing.
It was a white woman thing. It weren't really within our community.
Yeah, but now like BBLs, you're seeing them so now it's the woman that looks like you. It's your auntie. It's your cousin. It's you're growing up seeing that. If I don't like my body, I don't have to learn to like it. I can just change it.
I remember very accessible now.
Yeah,
so you can fly to Turkey.
I was gonna say it's
affordable. It's affordable.
It was a rich person's thing.
It was an upper tier thing. Now
you'd see a rich housewife.
Everybody,
with or something.
Whether you're broke, whether you got good crep, car, nothing, you've got your body done. It might be a bodge job, but you still got it.
So the things is now it's a lot of things are very accessible, and that's why I go back to like the whole Fortnite. I remember getting PlayStation. That was a gift. You know, whereas my bedroom downstairs, he got a PlayStation because he could get one. Like my dad bought me I remember You cut Terrell. Go downstairs to Terrell's house. It's got PS. Wait, hold on. It's not even Christmas. It's not your birthday. Yeah, my dad bought it for me. Oh, mum, dad, can I get a PlayStation? Is it Christmas? Is this your birthday? No. Have you done your books? Boom. Like, those things were a luxury. Sky was a luxury growing up.
Luxuries.
Mum,
I couldn't watch TV until the weekend.
Yeah. Listen,
Sky.
Growing up, Sky, yeah.
Weekend.
We had basic. Only on
Cable and
Christmas,
wireless.
my mum would get Sky Sports,
NTL.
NTL.
That's what
Only Christmas, my mum would get the
movie
movies,
package, yeah.
and sports package. That was a luxury. Whereas now, and Disney, remember Disney Channel was extra. Now our kids, they got that, or YouTube.
Yeah, but they I've asked this question before. I'm gonna ask you lot. How do you raise your kids with the same morals that you have, but give them all the things, like basically what we didn't have is what gave us our morals and our appreciation. So how do you give them all the things we didn't have, but still get them to have the same morals and appreciation we had?
Man.
You gotta find a balance.
But
for me,
Because I've caught myself. Have you not? And maybe you lot have done it as well. Have you ever caught yourself buying your child something and realizing the old one wasn't broken? This is just a newer version.
Yeah.
So I've bought you it because it's Christmas or because it's your birthday. So this is the thing to do. You don't deserve it. You don't need it. I remember socks used to be a big thing. Like I would come home from school and my mum would have like maybe a cartoon socks on the bed. I'm going mad. Oh, can I put it on now?
Yeah. You don't remember the toy section in Fenrix?
Yeah,
yo,
sorry, I never went to Fenix. Woolworths.
Yo,
Blood?
Man used to go walk and just look at the WWE toys and have a heart attack.
Do you remember circling the Arcos catalogue?
Yeah. Yo.
Blood.
Like, those, and the thing was, like I said, those things were a luxury to our kids because we came from that. That was a luxury realm.
We just give it to them now.
We just give it to them because they're not a luxury no more.
But new pajamas was a gift.
Yeah.
It's almost like we're overcompensating because
we didn't
like
have.
we knew how it was to be that little boy or that little girl and was like.
But then we get mad when they don't appreciate what we've given them because we're like, do you know how hard I worked to give you this? Like I'm in the house with my son. We've got a PlayStation, an Xbox, and a Switch.
Balling.
Jeez,
Like,
no. Yeah, we've got this in the house.
I'll come to your house.
I just got a Switch.
No. We're in the house, and I'm looking at him, and he's on his Switch. Fine, but I'm like, I bought you this Xbox for your birthday. You ain't touched this thing because now you got the Switch. Cool. But then I can't be mad at him because I got the PlayStation for myself. Do I play computer?
Yeah.
But then, you know,
That's how I am as well.
You know, it's the power of online. Because remember, when you had you couldn't play your bedrooms online. Your bedroom had to physically come to your yard.
But that was what made it.
That's what made it good.
Because you didn't, you enjoyed that time, that experience with your bedroom. I remember, like in school, like if I went Hinsley, so the boiler was shit. When that boiler broke down, it's like, yo, we finished school early. Whose yard are we going to play pro at? And we would all go to a man's yard. Yo, we're all playing pro for the whole day. Now it's now like even my youngest brother, he's 23, but he was the beginning of that social age. I can go in his room, and I can hear man talking. I'm like, why is this man talking to himself? But he's chatting to about 7 other of his bedrooms online, and they're playing pro clubs.
But this is the thing. I hear my son say, "Oh, what time we'll leave football?" My son's kid. He'll say to us, "What time? What time you lot going online?" Not, "Daddy, can I go to his house?" Not.
What time is going to be online?
What time are you going to be? And he's more than content to be in his room by himself because he's not alone.
Yeah, he's not alone.
He's with people.
Yeah.
I understand. Cause
my oldest son does it. He's got his phone. So he's got his, the WhatsApp group. So there's like 4 or 5 of them on the screen looking at each other. Then he's talking to them on Fortnite as he's playing. So it's like, why do I need to see? I can see you.
But the thing was, man was doing that when I was playing Call of Duty 10 years ago.
Yeah. But do you know what?
But we never deep in that role because I still go to a yard.
Yeah,
and
we would still link up with them, man.
But these men are like, I don't
need to.
I'm going to his yard. I'm in my yard, bruv.
But I think even as we link up, but we don't. Like we do, but we don't live far enough from each other to not meet up more often.
Facts.
And remember, I can say to you, yo, Jay, what you on? None, just here. What you saying? None.
Yeah.
Premps, what you doing? None. And no one of us goes, I'm coming to check
Come
you.
check. Yeah.
You know what it is, yeah? Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? Because like, but man's at that stage, but I'm chilling in my.
You don't, and you know as well. You don't know what a man might see him chilling, but he could have his missus next to him chilling or something. You get me? You don't want to be like,
certain time,
oh,
I
I'm
know
coming.
be
I was
like-
like, nah, I got my missus
Yeah.
here. You know?
You know, certain time, I know
Oh,
you
one of them ones.
want- you might be on the phone and it's like you're getting the eyes. And you're like,
Yeah.
no, I'm here.
You know she's looking at you like.
And then you go like, so what did you go J want?
But you know when it's one of them ones, it's like, what do you do?
You know
But genuinely, there's times we were actually not doing nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
We're not actually doing nothing. And that's it. We don't link up.
Nah, you know,
But-
What
time is it now?
it's one of them ones, man.
It's one of them ones we could go on for fucking hours about.
Yeah, like, we could.
It's that deep
But-
of a subject.
Mental health awareness, everyone.
I think it's very important that
Yeah,
you know,
just
we
take better care of those closest to you.
get me.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not even everything. You can let the littlest things out stages, man. But just don't feel afraid to hold things in, man. So
Yeah, man. And as I said, it's okay to not be okay as long as you don't stay in that state of not being okay. But
Yeah,
as
it's
from
okay.
you could admit, I'm not okay right now.
And I
that's
think
the
that's
first
the first step.
You know what I mean?
When a man asks you, and I'm gonna try that myself. When a man says, "Yo, fam, you alright?" If I'm genuinely not, I'm gonna tell you no.
Just
If I don't want to
yeah.
talk about it right now, I'll also let you know, not right now, brother, but I am not good right now.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
And then we can take it from there. That's the best we can do.
100.
But people, for everyone that's locked in, thank you very much.
Yeah, man. Thank you for tuning in. Another one. Yeah, you know where it is. If you're listening on the Spotify, you want to see what we look like in the flesh, go check us out on the YouTube page. Just search PDCM Podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe. Leave us a comment. You get me? If there's anything that you agree with or resonates with you, any support groups or anything like that, put them in the comments so that people can have access to them, man.
Definitely, man.
And please, for all those people that wanna, nitpick at the stuff we say, by all means, send that in as well.
And if you're offended because you got chipped toenails, go see a nail tech. Cause bars closed.
Go
Everything
seek
down.
help. Go seek help.
I'll be out.
Later, man.
So fuck it. Man, flames, man. No, leave it in there.
To license it.